Hello, welcome back to another episode featuring Cipher 9, aka Jikari's Imperial Agent playthrough. As always, I am Slicka, and let's just continue on. In the last episode, we found out that Darth Jadus is dead with the Dominator destroyed. The terrorists beat us. However, we were promoted to the rank of Cipher Agent, known as Cipher 9. See my little title there? Got our own ship, which I'll be seeing in a minute. Going into my hangar. And we are about to leave Dromund Kaas. I honestly think the Imperial Agent ship is the best looking ship out of all of them. The Sith classes and the Jedi classes actually share the same ship, whereas all the range classes get their own unique one. Again, the Imperial Agent I think is the best looking one. Kind of like a luxury cruiser. It's disguised as the X-70B Phantom. Let us enter, and you can watch me take off. This will happen on every planet. Usually I just end up skipping it, but why not take a look? I mean, it's a great looking ship. You can see it's raining on Dromund Kaas, and we are out of here. Very interesting approach to our next planet. So, I have to go through the introductory scene with my droid, but I'll explain what the ship looks like afterwards.
Greetings. I am 2VR8, factotum droid for this vessel. You must be my new master. Gentle, kind new master.
A gift from my superior. Here to keep an eye on me, I presume.
My only directive is your satisfaction, Master. Besides, my photoreceptors are not surveillance grade. I am programmed for a wide array of tasks, including but not limited to meal preparation, ship maintenance, janitorial duty, and etiquette. Welcome aboard the X-70B Phantom, an experimental prototype resembling a luxury shuttle that conceals the combat capabilities of a heavy starfighter. You'll find all of the standard amenities, including your own private captain's locker for storing valuables. The astrogation console contains a constantly updated map of the known galaxy. Interstellar communications are accessed via the ship's holoterminal. Priority alerts that you may find useful are available from the Imperial HoloNet console. Lastly, the ship's intercom will inform your crew that you wish to issue new orders. Any questions, Master?
I have a mission to complete. Time to see what this ship can do.
Thank goodness you aren't deactivating me. I mean, good luck. I regret I am unable to offer you combat support, Master. Frankly, my chassis couldn't withstand the stress. However, should any errands arise that are beneath your superior status, please do not hesitate to call upon me. I function to serve you. Whenever you are ready to depart, consult the galaxy map on your bridge. It will program the proper astrogation coordinates and activate the engines.
Alright, he's just giving me a little introduction to my ship. I'll show you guys around. Looks really nice on the inside. Apologize for not having any special features. In Legacy, you can have stuff unlocked through the other ship unlocks, like a repair droid on it, a mailbox, training dummies for operations or PvP, and even your own auction house, the Galactic Trade Network terminal. Yeah, I never really thought about spending the money on that since it's not hard to get to. So he was just explain how he's not capable of combat. That is actually untrue. As of one of the earlier patches, really, a lot of people really liked the ship droid and considered them another companion. I particularly don't use the ship droid. I just don't see a point to it. It is a healer. That is what the droid's supposed to be. It does not have anything else other than healing you. So I guess that can be somewhat useful. There are, when you do missions, you will see droid parts I can use to equip to them, but I never worried about it. I think you even need a quest item just to get him affection. If you can get him affection, I can't remember. It's been a while. So here's my cargo hold. As you see, I already threw a couple things in there. I'll just throw stuff in there in case I ever want to equip them for looks on the outside. I'll just hold on to all this. Alright, so that's my cargo hold if I want to store any items. My engine. There's actually a companion that'll sit in this room later on. Much later on. Like, I'm talking chapter 3, so be quite a while. Here's supposedly the crew quarters. Bunk beds, some desks, no big deal. Again, kind of looks cool. It's unique compared to the other ships, I'll give it that. Khalil normally sits out here. In fact, she has a conversation, so let's find out what's on her mind while we're here.
So we're clear. Imperial rations are nasty, and I lived on grubs and 2-credit wine for a year. They raise you on those things. No wonder you're a bunch of stiffs.
I'll request more variety in our supplies next time.
Not even a smile. Here's what I don't get. You got a little brass, you got a little style. You're not totally one of them. But you still play keeper's pet. Shoot all the right people when you could work for... whoever.
I get to lie, cheat, and murder legally and for profit.
I'll give you that, but you could do better. Me? I'm in long enough to lay low, pick up some cash, sort out some personal stuff you guys can help with. Then I'm gone.
What sort of personal stuff?
Made a deal with your bosses when I came on board. Nothing you need to worry about. Now let's get back to it before the world misses us.
So, Cleo has her own reasons for helping me out and joining, so find out later what that is. There'll be a companion in here. This is our med bay. It's kind of cool who gets to sit in there. Here is our conference room. Use the intercom to meet with your companions. Just see if I click on it, nothing will happen. This intercom is on all ships and is not used too often. In fact, I think the two classes I've probably used it the most as, for sure, if I've used it for any of my classes, have been the agent, which I've used once or twice, and the bounty hunter uses it actually quite a bit. And that's just because the bounty hunter doesn't really report to anyone, for the most part. Here's the holo terminal. This is where I'll get the missions for every single planet. When I'm finished with a planet in cluster, I'll go talk to them, or click on this and find out what's next to do on my to-do list, so to speak. So that will be used a lot. Every ship has an escape pod. You can launch it, but it doesn't do anything. It's unavailable at this time. A lot of people have speculated that the escape pod will be used at some point for a mission. I've yet to see it. Where your ship's destroyed. Here is my own quarters, supposedly. You know, the captain has to have their own quarters. And then fleet command button, which gives you space combat. I might do space combat in another episode, just show what it's like. Sitting in as you would like. Because it look like I'm doing something. And the galaxy map, which I'll be using a lot, will show me where to go for every planet, or help me travel to each planet. So let's use my ship's holo terminal so we can continue on with the story.
Nice digs. Think you got a message on that thing.
Download and begin playback.
Cipher 9, intelligence is finalizing your target list, but in the meantime, there's a formality we need to address. With Darth Jadus's demise, his seat on the Dark Council has opened. It will be filled by his daughter and sole apprentice, Darth Jorid.
Jadus has a daughter?
Lord Jorid demands to meet with you. Proceed to Korriban at once. She has authorized your presence in the Sith Academy.
Find a seat. We leave immediately.
Give me a shout if you need something. I'm gonna see how they stock the lounge.
Figures that's what Cleo would do. So let's access the galaxy map. Alright, so I'll just explain a little bit about each place. Unknown regions is just, unknown space. Not much there. Some of the hardest space missions are there. Ilum, the planet, which is a level 50 planet, is actually located there. I will see that much later. You guys may see that much later. The Corward worlds, that's more Republic space. So Alderaan, Balmorra, Corellia. They're all decent planets that you will see. Alderaan and Balmorra are indeed in Chapter 1, Corellia Chapter 3. So you will see Alderaan and Balmorra very soon, depending on which order I have to see them in. The distant outer rim is actually Tatooine, Hoth, and Belsavis. They're actually in each respective chapter, so to speak. Tatooine 1, Hoth 2, Belsavis 3. Some interesting planets. You will see them. Some much later and some sooner. Hutt space actually features a lot of the Hutt planets. So Hutta, Nar Shaddaa, Makeb, Quesh, Voss. Voss isn't exactly a Hutt planet, but you'll see later. Actually, if you see Hutt space is the only one I have a space mission in right now, which is the easiest one at my level, in my ship's level, so to speak. Seat of the Empire is Imperial space. That'll feature Dromund Kaas, the Imperial fleet, Korriban, which is where we have to go, and Terrace. So some of the planets you might know from playing Knights of the Old Republic games, like Terrace, as you can see, that's a Chapter 2 planet. Korriban is actually the starting planet for Sith Inquisitors and Sith Warriors. So let us travel to Korriban. And now we must land on the planet and meet with Darth Jorid, Darth Jadus' daughter. This is typically how it looks like when you land on any planet. Now, Korriban will actually be a unique planet compared to the rest of Chapter 1. They kind of went one of two ways in every single, for every planet. Either land on a space station first before you land on the ground of the planet, which is exactly what Korriban is like. They did not put in a spaceport. You land in a space station. You go through the hangar, the airlock, so to speak, down to the space station. All the space stations practically look the same, other than Makeb's. Bounty Hunter and Imperial Agent are always across from each other. Sith Warrior and Sith Inquisitor are always up there. Now, this one looks like a much nicer space station than some of the other ones that you'll see. Most of the space stations are Chapter 2 and 3. In fact, Chapter 2 and 3 are pretty much all space stations, like I said. Chapter 1 is actually all spaceports. I think Corellian's the only one in Chapter 3 that is a spaceport. So we just landed. You see there's quests. I'm actually not going to pick up these quests because they are designed for low-level Sith warriors and Sith Inquisitors. So you'll see a lot of like level 5s, level 6s, low levels as we run through this planet. I don't think the bounty hunter ever has to come here, but the agent does a couple times. I think. Could be mistaken there, or this might be my only time. I know the Inquisitor and the Warrior do actually come here. In fact, the Warrior and the Inquisitor finish their chapter stories, Chapter 3, on this planet, on Korriban. And let me just say, Chapter 3 is where you have your epic fight that makes a real impact in your life, in your character's life. Not gonna spoil it anymore for those stories. I mean, I might end up playing them at some point, but I gotta say, and do playthrough videos, but I gotta say, just play this. I mean, it's a great game. You need to try it. Very interesting. This is the Dark Academy, where you train to become a Sith. If you played in number... Oh, one sec, elevator. There's a Sith Inquisitor, in fact. If you played in number 1, you would have been in, you know, a similar Sith Academy. Not exactly the same, but like I said, similar. Number 2, the Sith Academy was destroyed, so you never really got to see this. Imperial agent phase, alright.
Look who made it all the way to Korriban. I think we have a visitor.
Yes, my lord.
Commander, I want to be informal with my bodyguards.
Ah, yes, Lady Jared.
Delightful. You, visitor, don't you find my bodyguards delightful?
I'm afraid I don't share your views.
Oh. How difficult it must be to live your life with so little taste. Delightful bodyguard, I have a request.
Yes, my lady?
Kill our visitor, please.
As you wish. She's as good as dead.
What the hell is this?
Come on out, I'll show you my gun.
So, I come because she wants to meet with me, and then she has her bodyguards try to kill me? They're pretty weak for being bodyguards to the Dark, someone of the Dark Council, but still. What the hell was that about? Sorry, what was that about? Alright.
Oh, wonderful. My poor bodyguards.
I'm starting to get a little peeved, and a little creeped out.
We haven't been introduced.
You're not the only one.
I'm Darth Jorid, Lord of the Dark Council and successor to Darth Jadus. I hear you're investigating my father's assassination. I wanted to see if you were worthy.
You tried to kill me.
I didn't try to kill you. I had my servants try to kill you. I could sense your feelings during the fight. I think you'll do nicely tracking these terrorists. But are you really sure that this eagle killed the mighty Darth Jadus?
Okay, first off, yeah, I guess her bodyguards did try to kill me, not her. Even though she's the one who gave the order. So she's already giving me sarcastic responses. And 2, she has a point. Do I think a lowly terrorist was able to kill a Sith Lord?
Why do you ask?
Because I thought you might know more than your superiors. Jadus believed in spreading fear and anger to every corner of the Empire. He wished to share the ideals of the Sith. Perhaps his ambitions drew too much attention. Any one of his rivals on the Dark Council might have killed him.
You think a Sith was behind the attack?
Perhaps. Perhaps not. Chase after your terrorists. Save the lives of your Imperial friends, but if you learn who's really responsible, come to me. I've earned my place on the Dark Council, and I won't share my father's fate. Dismissed.
Alright. Again, curious. Let us get out of here. Turn to our ship. Oh, and I just barely made surviving that. So you see a lot of Sith warriors, a lot of Sith Inquisitors. As I probably said in an earlier episode, I have played both, and Sith Inquisitor is a more popular class for the way you play it, but I do like the first couple plans I found with the Sith Inquisitor were the best, especially some of the speech options you had for what went on in your story. Some of them were pretty funny, and I just suggest, I do suggest playing both classes. Are pretty good. Chapter 2 and 3 were a little far-fetched. Well, Chapter 3 not so much, but Chapter 2 was. I mean, the end of Chapter 3 was kind of good, but I gotta say the Sith Warrior started off slow. I mean, by the way, when you're a Korriban, you're an apprentice. All the Jedi go for this, like Jedi and Sith, no matter which class you are. You're an apprentice on the first world. You leave typically as a graduated acolyte or an apprentice. In the case of the Jedi, I believe you're actually a full-fledged Jedi. Wow, this is a nice feature. I just get to go to my ship now. I can ignore run for the space station. A lot of people found that monotonous as they were run for the space stations constantly, and I do have to agree. When we have why run for it, there's no reason to. But yes, like the Sith Warrior story, an amazing story. I mean, Chapter 1 was just great. The one thing I really enjoyed about the Sith Warrior story is every time you got into a class mission and you had to fight people, it's almost like you were up against insurmountable odds, and you were just that badass capable of defeating everything there. And great story. Just especially towards the later parts, Chapter 2 and 3, they were just amazing. The end of Chapter 1 was probably one of the best endings out of all the class stories. I say Sith Warrior had a lot of work put into it, and whoever wrote that one, they deserve a big round of applause. They were amazing for doing that. A little bit disappointed with the Chapter 4s because they're all kind of like a shared story. There is no separate class story. It's probably because this game has gone free to play, but I really think they should have added on to the class stories with individuality. That would have been great.
This is Cipher 9 to headquarters. Do you have my target list?
Watcher 2 here. I've finished preliminary mapping of the Eagle's network. Your designated targets are terror cells located on Balmorra near the Republic border, and on Nar Shaddaa in Hutt space.
I just had a very interesting meeting with Darth Jadus' daughter. Any information on her?
I'm afraid that data isn't mission relevant. Contact me once you've arrived at either location, Cipher. Watcher 2 out.
So even with my promotion, they're still denying me access to data I would like to know. I mean, that was curious. I want to know if she was half mental. The way I had that meeting with her. Okay, so our first two areas are Balmorra and Nar Shaddaa. If you go into your class one, you'll find out Nar Shaddaa is too high for us. It's level 21. Well, Balmorra is level 15, so Balmorra is our next planet. Let us head there. Now, Balmorra is the Imperial, is an Imperial only planet at level 16. To explain better, the Imperials and the Republic have their own versions of... One moment. This is Lodin Kashar, secure transmission. Apologies, Cipher 9. Watcher 2 is coordinating another operation, but we may review. Going too fast. I'll let you guys just read it then. These are set to high definition on YouTube, by the way, so you should be able to read it if you full screen it, in case you are curious.
What are the terrorists doing here?
Sorry about that, Cipher 9. Welcome to the Eastern Galactic Front. This whole star system is a crisis point. Republic and Empire are testing one another's strength. Meanwhile, the terrorists lurk in the middle.
It's a perfect place to operate, isn't it?
Exactly right. The Eagle's men are using the war as a cover for local activities. Balmorra is their training ground. Cell members recruit, instruct, and arm new terrorists here. Fresh soldiers destined for other points in the network. It's a vital part of the system.
So, where do I sign up to join?
That I can't tell you. But you have the right idea. To dismantle the terror cell there, you'll need local support. I'm alerting one of our officials to your presence. Lecurne Renald is the station chief in Sobrik, the Imperial settlement where you landed. He runs intelligence operations on Balmorra and can brief you more thoroughly.
What's your assessment of the man?
He's worked for us for decades. I've never met him, but I expect he's loyal. Renald runs his affairs out of the back of an arms dealership. He'll be waiting for you when you arrive. Move quickly on this one, Cipher 9, and watch what you say. If things go bad, you'll have half a planet gunning for you.
Alright. So as I was saying with, oh yeah, I just landed. So real quick before I continue what I was saying, that'll happen every single time I land on a new planet with a mission. So if I went to Nar Shaddaa right now, I'd automatically get a conversation, a cutscene, where they talk about what's going on Nar Shaddaa and why I should land there. It's just the way this goes. As I was saying with Balmorra, though, to explain, Balmorra and Terrace are kind of like unique planets for the Empire and the Republic. They have their own versions. Like the Imperial version of Terrace is a level 32 planet. The first planet in Chapter 2. The Republic version of Terrace is actually the first planet you go to in Act 1. And by that I mean just like Balmorra is for the Imperials. So you'll never see the other faction on that planet. Now, the first time we will see the other faction, where you will see some Republic characters, is actually the Lower Promenade on Nar Shaddaa. Now, the Lower Promenade is, may as well land here instead of running around for no reason. The Lower Promenade is just like a quest hub, so to speak. You'll deal with a lot of your class story there, where you constantly meet up. In my particular case, as an Imperial agent, I will not. I know that for a fact. But the Sith Inquisitor, the Jedi Consular, the Trooper, and the Bounty Hunter, those are 4 classes I know for a fact. I believe the Jedi Knight as well, so there's 5 that constantly are in the Lower Promenade for their class story. We will go there briefly. That's where all like our crew skills, trainers are and all that. So we will be there and we will see other classes. This is a PvP server, so you could see me get ganked when we get into Tatooine and other high level planets. Well, Tatooine isn't exactly a high level planet, but it does have features that would have reason for level 55s and level 50s to be on. Alright, this is Sobrik. This is the hangar of Sobrik Spaceport. Sobrik is Imperial owned. You will see that even if you play Republic on the Balmorra version, where you actually infiltrate Sobrik. In our case, we're already here. What I will probably do is any quests in this area, Sobrik itself, before I call it an episode. I'll just check my time briefly. Alright, I still have a little bit of time before I'm forced to finish this episode up. So let's speak with Captain Rigel.
Agent, good to see the Empire's finest hitting up this bombed-out crater. Captain Rigel, Imperial Conquest Consolidation Corps. When the Empire invades, we're the ones who seal the deal. Don't suppose you're aware of the situation here on Balmorra?
It's my understanding there's some kind of battle.
Yeah, if you could call a pile of bodies a battle. The Empire invaded Balmorra in the last war, but we've been spinning our wheels in the mud ever since. Resistance fighters think they can drive the Empire off Balmorra. We're here to prove them wrong.
How hard can it be to put down a few resistance?
It's not just a few resistance, they're well organized and well armed, but they can be broken. The Balmorran government in exile, backed by Minister of Defense Vol Argen, is giving us fits, backing a strong faction of the resistance. The Minister is safely off planet, but if we break his allies here, we break him. We break him, we break the resistance.
What do you need me to do?
That's what I'm looking for. People who want to get things done. My second-in-command, Lieutenant Davriel, is masterminding Phase 1 of what we like to call Operation Breaking Point. You'll find him in Sobrik. He's got plans to blow the Balmorran resistance sky high. I think you'll like them.
So I'm not going to explain why the other classes are here. You know why I'm here, because as the Imperial agent, you're here for terrorist cells, and that will be the theme going for every single planet.
To be pacified. We're in the middle of a war zone.
Alright, so I'm just going to pick up the Imperial taxi station while I'm here.
Displaying all authorized destinations.
Agent. Just who I was hoping might choose this moment to visit Sobrik. I understand you are not averse to occasional off-the-record tasks which require some discretion. One of our officers has just had an unfortunate dust-up with a valuable delegate, and we need to doctor the results.
I'm all about results.
So I've heard. This officer recently quarreled with one of our Chiss delegates. The delegate did not survive. The Chiss have provided crucial intelligence here and elsewhere in the war. It would not do to strain relations with them.
This won't be the first cover-up I've been part of.
Ah, good. You take my meaning. We have doctored a security recording to make it appear that Balmorran rebels attacked the delegate. We need someone with no direct connection to this officer to go to the room where the murder occurred and upload the doctored footage to the security cameras. With luck, we can turn this into a galvanizing point against the rebels.
An excellent plan.
The delegate was killed in the back room of a cantina. I'll give you the coordinates. Just tell our man at the door that you're working for Brearden, and he'll let you pass.
Oh, there's a Chiss mercenary. And a Sith Juggernaut. One thing you will pick up while we are here is mission. Don't remember this being here. Could be wrong. I do remember the quest, I just don't remember picking it up from a terminal. One thing you'll notice on every planet we go to, there'll actually be like a world quest arc. In that case, the first guy we saw in the starport starts it. It'll take us to all the quest hubs doing a world quest and featuring like stopping the war effort, so to speak, breaking down the resistance. The Empire looks like it'll conquer Balmorra.
Hey there. Got a second? You look like someone important in the Empire, huh? I Bet you could get me to who's in charge.
You're the first Balmorran I've met who's actually asking to be hauled off.
I don't want to be arrested, all right? I want to trade. The Resistance is dead, I know that. I want to come out of this with my head. I got info. Right here. Where the rebels are. What they're hitting. Introduce me to the Mucky Mucks, and I'll trade them the rest for a berth off-planet.
It's possible High Command might be interested.
You bet they would be. Nothing happens in the Resistance that Griffin Remus doesn't know about. I think Lieutenant Trishota handles defections, but he's been targeted a few times, so he don't take people off the street anymore. You convince him I'm the real goods, and I'd bet he'd cut you in a finder's fee.
Possibly. Alright, so that's pretty much the missions in Balmorra. In Sobrik, sorry. Obviously, there's a lot more in Balmorra. So let's just run around and complete this. I know we only have so much room on this current hard drive as I continue to... I've actually purchased a couple more, so this shouldn't be a problem. Once I move on to those, here's Trishota.
Are you the officer who deals with defectors?
Yes, though I prefer not to be quite so open about it. I'm Lieutenant Trishota. High Command has tasked me to learn how these rebels think, as distasteful as that is. Have you found a candidate? Someone of enough value for the Empire to recruit instead of capture?
A man named Griffin Remus. He gave me this intel already. Why don't you torture him for anything else he's got?
I'll send my men to pick him up. Thank you. I'll transfer our standard finder's fee to your accounts.
Well, to be honest, the guy didn't look like he knew what he was mouthing off about, and it was his fault for asking. Alright, so let's deal with the cantina incident real quick before we continue on to some of the other things. The sunken Sarlacc cantina.
Scared locals. They try to hide it, but they're shell-shocked. Just waiting for something to blow up.
I'll unlock this. Before I quickly continue in there, it's actually a companion customization vendor.
What can I get for you?
You can actually see some more. Looks like she's scarred up. It's not too bad. I just don't want to spend that kind of money for it right now.
Come back anytime.
Maybe later. Alright, let's see what the cantina doorman has.
I'm working for Breredan.
Go on in, but be careful, the delegates' bodyguard droids are still inside and on full alert. Let's go in. Accessing. As I'm running out, because after I turn to Breredan, I'll send VR8 on a couple missions.
Leave everything to me, Master. I will not disappoint you.
So since I happen to be over here, I will start the Imperial agent quest. Looks like I have to come up here. Here's Lacern Renault.
Well, what have we here? Let me take a look at you. You're one of Keeper's girls, eh? I'm glad he finally sent someone. Pity it took a disaster to get headquarters' attention.
You must be Station Chief Renault.
At your service. I've been assigned to Balmorra for almost 20 years and haven't enjoyed a day of it. Ha! But here, I'm being a poor host. Have a drink. Settle in after your trip. This shop doesn't look like much, but it's secure.
Secure or not, this is an odd place to work from.
The shop front's a necessary deception. The Republic and the terrorists have people everywhere. Rather than calling secret informants into a military base, I speak to them here, and no one's the wiser. These terrorists you're after, they've been a thorn in my side for a long while. They're worse than the Republic in some ways.
So they're not working with the Republic?
This terror cell is homegrown, made up of Balmorrans unhappy with the Empire's rule. I suspect the Republic tacitly supports the terrorists. We're their common enemy. So we do our best to cope with the bombings and sabotage.
What's your response been so far?
The governor makes an example of a few dozen Balmorrans after each attack, but it doesn't have much of an effect. Meanwhile, I've been studying the terror cell's structure, and there's good news. If we can take out the local leader, the cell should fall apart.
You have this plan, but you haven't actually implemented it.
Yes, well, we don't know exactly who the leader is. The terrorists call the man in charge Grey Star. He runs the cell, gives the orders, and knows all the secrets. They claim Grey Star used to work with the Eagle, but who can be sure? Only the high-ranking cell members know Grey Star's identity.
It's a complication, but there's opportunity there.
I have a mole inside the terrorist cell already. He's a good lad. No Cipher, though. He can bring you in. You'd have the opportunity to impress the terrorists, win their trust.
And gain access to their leader.
Precisely. Grey Star will be ours. Sanju Pine, my operative, can introduce you to the terrorist recruiters at the Troida military workshop outside the safe zone. But be careful how you present yourself. If the terrorists suspect you're Imperial, you'll lose Grey Star. And your lives.
That is exactly why I will pretend I am not. Just like the Red Blade, no accent. They actually have a speeder vendor here now. Interesting.
Here's what I got. Look quick if you want.
Fortunately, I can't afford it yet. I have to trade some coin for my other characters just so I can travel faster instead of running everywhere. Since I do have speeder piloted now. Alright, let's turn these in. So, with the Imperial Agent quest, it looks like we are going to infiltrate and join their ranks. This Sanju Pine is going to help us get in. And we are going to go after the Grey Star, their leader, who seems to be training, or helping to train, future terrorists. So that is what Balmorra is all about.
Agent, I hope you're tough. I hope you like to get dirty. The battle for Balmorra can only be won with blood, sweat, and tears. Our sweat, their blood and tears. The government in exile, the resistance, cowards. We're going to bury them in their little hidey holes.
Yes, I get it. We're going to crush the resistance. What's your point?
The old government's sending generators to the resistance, powering their artillery. The Resistance has given pardons to Balmorra's worst killers in exchange for a little guard duty. Phase 1 of Operation Breaking Point is to destroy those generators and put those killers to sleep. You in?
I signed up to serve the Empire, and I intend to do it.
From the looks of you, I'd say you mean it. The generators are in the Nibre warehouse. If you can blow them to pieces, you'll show the Balmorran resistance it takes more than cold-blooded killers to stop the Empire.
Alright, and now to turn in that other quest and then call it an episode. So one of the weaker, or slower episodes, I will admit, but we'll see a lot more next time as I continue on. You can look for it on my map. I mean, there's quite a bit going on. I'll probably meet with Sanju Pine first to find out what I need to do. I'm sure I have to prove myself to these guys. I'm sure being resistance fighters, they're not going to take too kindly to strangers they've never seen before. I mean, they are at war.
I handled your cover-up. As far as anyone will know, the rebels killed that chiss.
Excellent. And I have heard nothing of it, which is even better. Please accept this payment for your service and your silence.
Alright, so I'll select a planetary accommodation. I got credits. Alright, so that is the episode. Thanks for watching. Please rate, comment, and subscribe in the section below. Again, remember, the voting is still on for this episode and another two more episodes after. Which Republic class would you like me to start for the playthrough series? Jedi Consular, Jedi Knight, Trooper, or Smuggler? You guys get to decide. I'll go through the comments and I'll see which ones I get to start. Which one I get to play. So, again, thanks for watching. Good luck. Hope you guys had fun watching this episode.